What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Refinement. In today's video, we're going to go over 3 questions that'll help you make $1,000 a week on eBay. So if this is your first time here on my channel, my big store, Daily Refinement, makes more than $1,000 a day profit. In my little store, Reseller Nirvana, I just started 80 days ago, 80. So about 3 months ago, I started this store, and now it's currently making $1,000 a week profit, and it will be on its way to making $2,000 a week profit shortly. And I'm going to go over the 3 questions you need to ask yourself to replicate the results. So these questions always pop up. Why are my sales slow? Number 2, I don't know where to source items, or where are you sourcing items? And then number 3, how can people list so fast? These questions are like 90% of the questions that come in, and they're, in my opinion, a little bit lazy, because that's like asking, why can't I lose weight? Why don't I make a lot of money? How come people don't like being around me? There needs to be more specific questions that you ask that can help you answer that. It starts with, why are my sales slow? If you have slow sales, it makes everything very difficult. But if your sales are really good, it solves a lot of the problems. So the correct questions to ask are, how can I make my titles draw more traffic? What price can I afford to sell my items at? What kind of promotions can I afford? I'm going to give you guys an example. So there's 2 types of promoted listings. There's promoted listing standard, where you promote your listings across the whole platform, and eBay will tell you how many impressions you get, how many people clicked. So I did a campaign where I got 2,700,000 impressions, 3,771 people clicked on it, and only 112 purchased. So not very strong. That means that not a lot of people were that interested in the item when they saw it. It resulted in $1,774 in sales, and I paid $19 for that. Is that worth it or not? You would need to know that if you want your sales to be faster, because you would know how much money you have to advertise. Okay, so if you owned a burger shop in the middle of Times Square, that's going to get more traffic than Montana. But can you afford the additional real estate cost to be in Manhattan? It depends, right? It might be worth it, it might not be worth it. You would need to know how much can you spend on advertising, right? Compare this to Promoted Listings Advanced, which is pay-per-click. This is a little bit different. You can pick a keyword. I picked a keyword in my category. I paid 5 cents per click. And I'm testing this because I want to get an idea of how much I need to spend to make a sale. And I stopped it to review this at the first sale. So I got 25 clicks. I paid 5 cents per listing or per click. And I got one sale of $18.89, which is standard from me. I sell my items around $20. So is it worth it for me to spend $1.27 to get a sale? It depends. In my category, it is worth it. In your category, it might not be. But these are the kind of questions that you need to ask if you're asking, why are my sales slow? Because there's always an answer. If you don't know why your sales are slow, nothing else matters. Really, let's just be honest. If you don't know why your sales are slow, there's no part of reselling that will work for you, because the act of reselling is when you transfer goods from one person to another. And if you don't understand how that works, you're just a glorified buyer. You just like buying things. You're not really a reseller. You have to get into it and figure out why your sales are slow. Number 2, where to source items. This is very important. What category are you selling in? For me personally, I sell pre-owned clothing. So if I look at my store, I ask myself some questions. First question is, where do goods go when they're not used anymore? I sell pre-owned items, right? So they're not new. So I wouldn't be looking for the manufacturer or the producer of the item, because they wouldn't sell to me, because that's wholesale. If you want to sell brand new clothing, you need to set up a retail environment so these companies will sell wholesale to you. That's pretty straightforward. If you're looking for a shortcut, there's plenty of people on YouTube who will sell you a shortcut for upwards of $500 to $3,000. I'm here to tell you that all the shortcuts don't work. The only way to make money with shortcuts is to sell shortcuts to people who are too lazy. The only way to figure out where things come from is to do the homework to actually set it up. If you want to sell Nike, you have to have a legit shoe store with a certain amount of traffic and a certain reputation before they sell wholesale sneakers to you. And no, you can not only buy the super valuable ones that are 100 times their value, you have to buy all of them in order to get that account. But if you think about where your items come from, you can figure out and reverse engineer how to become a licensed distributor. So for me, my items are either donated, recycled, discarded, or exchanged. That's where I can get my items. At a typical exchange, it might be something like Plato's Closet or Buffalo Exchange, where I go there and I'm buying clothing from people who've exchanged it for something else, or they're doing consignment. Pre-owned goods only have a few different ways of getting them. They're either thrown away, recycled, discarded, or exchanged. That's pretty much it. So you need to figure out where those distribution centers are, and you need to go in there and figure out what they need so that you can get the supply. So does money talk in your category? Is it only who has the most money, or is it the most reliable person? Is it somebody that you trust? Relationships are built on different things. It's not only who has the most money, because I certainly do not have the most money when I go in to talk to different wholesalers and distributors, but I have a relationship with them. I'm reliable. I'll show up every single time ready to pay, and I know exactly what I'm looking for, which makes their lives a lot easier. If you're asking, what can I sell to make a profit, you've already lost. Can you please write that down? If you're thinking to yourself, what can I sell to make a profit, you have a guaranteed failure rate in reselling. You have to be specific. You have to figure out what it is you want to sell. That way you can figure out where it comes from. That's it. That's the bottom line. You have to know what you're selling, or you'll never figure out where it comes from. So personally, I sell mall brand clothing, and it's everywhere. It's ubiquitous. I actually was a little bit triggered when somebody asked me where to find common mall brand clothing. Literally everywhere, literally anywhere. If you go to, you can get it at dumpster diving, you can get it at thrift stores, you can get it at garage sales, you can get it on you can Google liquidation clothing and find mall brand clothing with one Google search. In the top 15 searches, probably 10 of them are legitimate and will give you mall brand clothing. But that doesn't really matter if you don't understand step number 1, which is, how do you actually sell something? You have to know why your sales are slow, how much profit you actually make. That way you can know what to pay for the items when you go and source them. Sourcing is actually not that difficult once you've decided what category you want to sell in. It's really important to understand your margins, because without understanding your margins, you don't know what you need to pay for the item. Okay, you need to understand what items sell for. I'm selling items that you could get at any mall in America. You can even do retail arbitrage. You can sell brand new stuff at the mall. It's on clearance right back on eBay. I know plenty of people who crush it. Every single mall brand works because they spend millions and millions of dollars a year on advertising. You're just piggybacking on their success. Don't give yourself so much credit. You're just basically a leech off of the success that they're having. You just swoop right in there without all the overhead, without all the employees, and you just buy stuff cheap on their clearance rack and sell for more money on eBay. You did very, very little work, but kudos for you for being so specific in what you're selling. Lastly, how can people list so fast? This is really straightforward. They know exactly what they're selling, and they sell similar items over and over and over again. That's how they do it. No one can list random items that they don't know anything about quickly, because it takes too much time. You don't know what it is you're describing. You don't know how to photograph it. You don't know how to list it. You don't know comparable research, so you wouldn't know what to price it at. You have no idea what to pay for it. That's way too slow. The reason that people can list super fast is they already know what they're selling. Okay, I'm just selling items that are in the same categories. And I'll be honest with you guys. You know, my colleague Tech and Sports, who I run a mentorship with, if you guys need more help, I would go to our Patreon, patreon.com/theresellerspodcast. And our Facebook mentorship is $35 a month. You can go in there, post specific questions, and we will answer you. There's pretty much no question in reselling that we can't answer if you give a specific answer, a specific question. So that's what we're doing to help people reach their goals. But back to my analogy with what I sell. My colleague, Tech and Sports, who I run the mentorship with, really only sells 20 to 30 brands. I kind of have a different approach. I probably sell 200 different brands, but only in 10 categories. And the 10 categories are very similar. Like jackets and vests are literally in the same category on eBay. So even though there's two different categories, the listing process is essentially the same. Jackets, sweaters, t-shirts, pants, shorts, skirts, those are technically different categories, but they're not that much different. So essentially what I'm trying to do is master being a clothing seller and understanding which price points for different items sell. Why do I price a Kabi jacket at $29.99, but a Banana Republic sweater at $19.99 and a Gap hoodie at $15.99? Why are the price points different, right? You would know that if you sold in this particular category, why the price points are different, right? Are the photos different? They're actually not. You can see here this jacket, this sweater, and this hoodie have the exact same picture, even though they're three different categories. It's also standardized. You can see all of my pictures look the same, all of my titles look the same. That's by design to make this easier. The more difficult it is, the more different processes you have, the more difficult it is. So it's very straightforward, guys. The difference between being successful on eBay and not is being specific versus general. If you listen to all the complaining on YouTube and all the Facebook groups where people aren't making sales, all their questions are super vague. Okay? No one is asking, I don't know why my titles don't convert. Because by asking that question, you would already start thinking about what does convert in your titles, and you wouldn't have that question anymore. So you have to be specific. Appreciate you guys. Please smash the like button. Join the Facebook group. Take care.